Woof woof! Hello everybody, Shuffle Woof here with a new EP review. Today we will be discussing the new Stick Crickets EP, Mini Mart Projectionist. Stick Crickets is an alternative rock band based in Connecticut. They debuted in 2018 with their album New Monastic Presence, which is full of quirky songwriting and plenty of indie rock appeal. They really came onto the scene with a bang here. They did not release any new material until 2020 with their single, Eternal Suck, which felt more aesthetically focused compared to their previous work. Clearly the band members spend their off time mastering their craft. 5 years later, as we now dive into their newest project, I think we see this positive trend continue significantly. Mini Mart Projectionist features some of the band's most multi-dimensional production and lyrics yet. This EP really gives you a lot to sink your teeth into even if it is only 6 tracks long. The quirks in this project's songwriting introduce themselves right away on the opener, Naked Airways. I love the odd chord changes and how well the song flows, in spite of how lyrical it is. This one features some great guitar work. I especially like the end section and how it builds with the vocals. When it comes to the lyrics, our vocalist details feeling ashamed of themselves and finding comfort in escaping others' judgment, in spite of a secret desire for intimacy. Like we will see with the rest of this EP, this song takes a more abstract and poetic approach to its storytelling that is very fun to interpret. I absolutely love media lyrics like these. The next track, All I Want Is to Wear My Head, livens things up with staccato accordion playing, engaging guitars, and subtle synths that give the sound even more body. I am loving all the dynamics, as well as the great vocal performances and harmonies. This one feels like it takes your hand and runs with you through the motions of the song. It reminds me of Lemon Demon's best work. I see that same influence in the insanely quirky storytelling, all about literally losing your head and imagining becoming someone else by having it adhered to different bodies. This one is very well done, I adore it. The bangers continue with NYC 2015, You Probably Tripped. This one features rock pianos, bells, and trippy vocal effects that bring out the most in the leads and the backing harmonies. I am loving the funky synth bass and the guitar riffs throughout. It is all very fun. The lyrics seem to ruminate on an ex-lover who used their romance as a distraction from themselves, with spiteful lyrics like, I'll never know what it's all about cause you probably wanted to waste time but all you did was end up wasting mine. The next track, Same as Ever, is a more toned-down song led by a lo-fi drum beat. Though the guitar riffs and the outro are nice on this one, my favorite part absolutely has to be the vocal melodies. I also think some of the EP's best lyrics land here, with plenty to say about insecurity in your present versus past self. Lines like, my friends may have their wedding day but I will never change, and it always comes back to you when you're 2 or 3 years removed from times you had to drive, are so raw and vulnerable. I am sure it will hit with many of their listeners. Also, I just want to say, I wish every song was half as good as When You're Half Asleep is such a nice line to me for some reason. They really have a knack for capturing hyper-specific feelings in a beautiful way. The next track, Newt/Namekuji, starts off right away with some of the most colorful guitar tones on the project. They mesh very well with the bass. I really admire Stick Cricket's taste for sound design. They really know what elements will work together, from the lo-fi drums, to the high keyboards, to the many repetitions in the second half that only add to the vibe. I do not quite understand the odd lyrics here. From what I can tell, it is an extended reference to something I do not know about. Are these lyrics about being a digital salamander akin to Quirky, the Microsoft Word assistant? Maybe it does not matter, because the vibes are so amazing I do not need it to make a lot of sense. The lyrics are still very fun and quirked up, which I am totally here for. We finally end on Ideal, which starts in a lightly distorted but soft direction, with big guitar parts that flood the space well. I like the fun drums and the harmonies, too. This track feels like it has 2 parts, because we very quickly transition away from this into a brighter, sunnier strummed outro that feels more euphoric. I like the fun vocalizations. It is a good ending to the EP, even if I wish we could have gotten more out of that first half. The lyrics on this one also feel like the most unclear on the project. My best guess is that it is the vocalist expressing how they want to become a cartoon character. I would love to hear an artist's statement on what these lyrics mean. Overall, I am insanely impressed with Stick Cricket's development. This is a truly significant project. They clearly have fun on all of these tracks, and they went all out with some of the most creative and cohesive songwriting and production I have heard from the community in a while. Do not miss this one if you like alternative rock that feels out of the box. Stick Crickets, you shuffled my woofs. Woof woof.